Welcome, dear friends, to a moment of reflection and shared understanding. Today, we delve into a timeless story, one that gently illuminates the profound mysteries of birth and death, and offers a path to peace amidst life's inevitable changes. It's a narrative that has resonated through generations, reminding us of the wisdom that can be found when we open our hearts to the deepest truths of existence. In a tranquil hermitage nestled amidst ancient trees lived Master Kalen, a revered teacher whose wisdom was sought by many. His eyes held the quiet depth of a still lake, and his presence brought a sense of calm to all who approached him. One crisp morning, as the first rays of sun painted the forest in hues of gold, two women, each carrying a different burden, made their way to his humble abode. The first to arrive was Leela, her face etched with a sorrow so profound it seemed to dim the very light around her. Her steps were heavy, her gaze distant, as if she walked through a world veiled in grief. She had recently lost her young child, a vibrant life extinguished far too soon, and her heart was a raw wound that refused to heal. She knelt before Master Kalen, her voice a fragile whisper, barely audible above the rustling leaves. "Master," she began, tears welling in her eyes, "my world has shattered. My child, my precious little one, is gone. How can this be? How can life be so cruel as to grant us such joy, only to snatch it away? What is the purpose of birth if it leads only to such unbearable pain? I cannot comprehend this suffering, this emptiness that consumes me. I feel lost, adrift in a sea of despair, unable to find any meaning in a life that has taken so much from me." Her words were a torrent of anguish, a desperate plea for understanding in the face of an incomprehensible loss. She longed for an answer, a reason, anything that could mend the broken pieces of her heart. As Lila poured out her grief, the second woman, Serafina, arrived. Her demeanor was different, not marked by acute sorrow, but by a quiet, contemplative unease. Serafina was in the autumn of her own life, and she observed the world with a keen awareness of its fleeting nature. She had witnessed the vibrant bloom of spring give way to the golden decay of autumn. The youthful vigor of her friends softened into the gentle wisdom of age. She saw the relentless march of time, the constant change that touched everything she held dear. She bowed respectfully to Master Kalen, and then turned her gaze to Lila, her heart aching in empathy for the raw pain she witnessed. When it was her turn to speak, her voice was calm, yet tinged with a deep existential question. "Master," Serafina said, "I do not carry the immediate grief that burdens Lila, but I too am troubled by the nature of existence. I see life unfold, from the smallest seed to the grandest tree, only to eventually wither and return to dust. I see the beauty of youth, the strength of maturity, and then the inevitable decline. If all that is born must eventually perish, what is the true value of birth? Is it merely a prelude to an ending? How can one find peace, knowing that everything, absolutely everything, is impermanent? I find myself questioning the very foundation of joy, knowing it too will pass. How do we live fully, knowing that every moment is slipping away?" Master Kalen listened to both women with profound compassion, his gaze unwavering. He did not interrupt, nor did he offer immediate platitudes. He simply allowed their pain and their questions to fill the space, acknowledging the depth of their human experience. After a long, silent moment, he spoke, his voice soft yet resonant. "My dear Lila, my dear Seraphina," he began, "your questions are as old as humanity itself, and they arise from the deepest chambers of the heart and mind. They are not questions to be answered with simple words, but with a journey of understanding. Lila, your grief is immense, and it is natural. To lose a child is to feel a part of your very being torn away. Seraphina, your contemplation of impermanence is wise, for it touches upon the fundamental truth of all existence. Both of you seek to understand the dance between birth and death, and I will guide you, not with answers, but with observations." He turned first to Lila. "Lila, I ask you to go into the village. Go to every home, every dwelling, and ask if death has ever visited that household. If you find a home where no one has ever experienced loss, where death has never cast its shadow, bring me a single mustard seed from that house, only from such a house." Lila, though bewildered, nodded. The task seemed simple enough, yet her heart felt heavy with the impossibility of it. She rose and, with faltering steps, made her way towards the bustling village. From house to house she went, knocking on doors, her voice trembling as she asked her poignant question. In one home, a mother wept as she spoke of her own child lost to illness. In another, an elderly man shared stories of his beloved wife who had passed years ago. A young couple spoke of a grandparent who had recently departed. With each story, Lila's own tears flowed. But something subtle began to shift within her. She saw that her sorrow, while deeply personal, was not unique. It was a thread woven into the fabric of every human life. She found no house untouched by death, no family spared from loss. As the sun began to set, Lila returned to the hermitage, her hands empty of mustard seeds, but her heart carrying a new, albeit painful, realization. Meanwhile, Master Kalen turned to Seraphina. "Seraphina," he said, "I ask you to spend your day in the forest. Observe the trees, the plants, the smallest insects. Watch the river flow. Do not seek to change anything. Merely observe. And when you return, tell me what you have truly seen about the nature of birth and death in the natural world." Seraphina, with a thoughtful nod, ventured into the forest. She sat by a gurgling stream, watching the water ceaselessly move, never the same from one moment to the next. She observed a mighty oak tree, its roots deeply anchored, its branches reaching towards the sky. Yet she noticed the fallen leaves at its base, the decaying bark, the new shoots emerging from the earth nearby. She saw a butterfly emerge from its chrysalis, dance in the sunlight for a brief, glorious day, and then gently fall to the ground. She watched a tiny seed sprout, push through the soil, grow into a delicate flower, bloom in vibrant color, and then slowly, gracefully, wither, releasing new seeds back into the earth. She saw life and death not as opposing forces, but as an intricate, continuous dance, each giving rise to the other. The forest was a symphony of constant transformation, a testament to the ceaseless cycle of arising and passing away. As dusk settled, both women returned to Master Kalen. Lila, her eyes still red from weeping, but with a newfound quietness, spoke first. "Master," she said, her voice steadier now, "I could not find a single home untouched by death. Every family I met had known loss, had felt the sting of separation. I saw that my grief, while profound, is not mine alone. It is a universal experience, a shared human condition. I am not isolated in my suffering. A tear rolled down her cheek, but it was a tear of recognition, not just despair. She had begun to understand the truth of dukkha, the suffering inherent in existence, and the universality of anicca, impermanence. Then Seraphina spoke, her voice filled with a quiet awe. Master, I saw the river flow, never pausing, always changing. I saw the trees shed their leaves, only to grow new ones. I saw the flower bloom and fade, leaving behind the promise of new life. I saw that birth and death are not separate events, but two sides of the same coin, inextricably linked. One cannot exist without the other. The end of one form is the beginning of another. The decay nourishes new growth. It is a continuous, unfolding process, a grand cycle of transformation. There is no true ending, only change. She had glimpsed the interconnectedness of all phenomena, the principle of dependent origination, where everything arises and ceases in relation to other things. Master Kalen smiled gently. You have both seen profound truths, he said. Lila, you have understood that death is not a personal punishment, but a natural part of the human experience. It touches us all, and in this shared vulnerability, there is a deep connection, a compassion that can arise when we realize we are all in this journey together. Your pain is valid, but you are not alone in it. This understanding can be the first step towards healing, towards finding solace in the shared humanity of grief. He continued, turning to Seraphina. And Seraphina, you have seen that birth and death are not opposites, but partners in the dance of life. Everything that arises must pass away, and from that passing, new life emerges. This is the law of impermanence, anicca. To resist it is to resist the very nature of reality, which only leads to more suffering. But to embrace it, to understand that change is the only constant, is to find a profound freedom. It allows us to appreciate the beauty of each moment, knowing its precious, fleeting nature, without clinging to it when it inevitably transforms. The wisdom of the path, Master Kalen concluded, is not to deny the pain of loss, nor to fear the inevitability of change. It is to understand that all things are impermanent, that suffering arises from our attachment to what is transient, and that there is no permanent, unchanging self to cling to. When we truly grasp this, we can cultivate a deep sense of acceptance, not as resignation, but as a profound understanding of reality. We can then live with greater compassion for ourselves and others, cherishing the moments we have, and finding peace even amidst the cycles of birth and death. The two women sat in silence, absorbing his words. Lila felt a gentle easing in her heart, a sense of belonging in her sorrow. Seraphina felt a quiet joy, a liberation from the anxiety of impermanence. They had not been given magic solutions, but a new lens through which to view their experiences, a path towards understanding and inner peace. They understood that birth is a precious gift, and death is not an end, but a transformation, a natural part of the grand, unfolding tapestry of existence. And so, They left the hermitage, not with their burdens lifted entirely, but with a newfound wisdom, a deeper sense of connection, and a path towards navigating the profound mysteries of life with greater grace and understanding. Their journey to Master Kalen had transformed their perception of birth and death, from sources of fear and despair to integral parts of a beautiful, ever-changing reality. Thank you for joining us on this journey of reflection. May this story inspire you to contemplate the cycles of your own life with an open heart and a discerning mind. If you found value in this message, please consider sharing it with others who might benefit, and perhaps follow for more insights into living a life of peace and wisdom. Until next time, may your path be filled with understanding and compassion.